du någonsin funderat på om det faktiskt finns ett tankesätt, en mentalitet, en ekvation som du kan applicera i livet för att må bättre, göra bättre och hantera risker bättre och kunna faktiskt ta dig an motgångar på ett annat sätt? Jag tror min kommande gäst här, som jag strax ska släppa in, han har nog skapat en sån ekvation. Och nu för första gången tyckte jag att det är dags för honom att dela med den till oss andra. För jag ser hur han skiner, jag ser hans framgångar och det är beundransvärt. Den här gästen är en blandning av en filosof, poet och en livsnjutare skulle jag säga. Han får det att se så lätt ut så att det är nästan irriterande. Vi bjöd in honom på det här avsnittet här på engelska, så jag hoppas du kan ha överseende och suga liksom visdomen ur det här avsnittet. Och det var många ledtrådar och bitar som gör att jag nästan måste lyssna på det någon gång till här. All right. Släpper in honom nu. All right, so today I'm sitting in front of a guy who's obviously achieved a lot in his life. He's a black belt in Tae-kwon-do. He's a poet, artist. He's a father. But the thing that intrigues me with this guy is his way of thinking, his way of putting ideas together to one thought, one box, one red line. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to explore his mind. We're going to open up his brain and see what is he hiding inside. What's going on? Because this is a dear friend to me. And every time we speak, I'm like, who is this guy? Why is he doing this? So I thought, all right, let's bring him to the Sunday brunch table and have a real convo. We're out in the woods here. English is my third language, so bear with me. But this guy is trilingual. Anyways, I can't really say his name, but he's a part of the collective. S.T.I.C.S in the building. I know what time it is. 20 years in the game. If you don't get it, get the F out of here, because this is our time. So, can we just begin exploring things? I want you to tell me about what is it that you're trying to squeeze out of life, man? Because I see you so focused. I see you always on point. It's what, 7 o'clock, we're out in the woods on a Saturday. Like, what is it with you? Where are you going, bro?
I'm going to be honest and say, first of all, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
S.T.I.C.S be in the building as always. S.T.I.C.S, sounds that inspire conscious souls. You're doing great work, first of all.
Shukran.
I know you asked me, but I have to, because that's just how I see life. That's our departure is. You're doing it. You put us together. You put a whole concept together, which we'll explore later on. And I'm loving to be on the brunch show, man. It's nice with Sunday brunches. But in my mind, I see things kind of analytical. I think we all do. I think all people do. If you do this, then it leads to that. I usually refer to it as X and Y. I didn't pass math in high school. It didn't go well for me in high school. But I even feel that school has deprived me of learning a lot of things.
Oh, Lord.
But I do see a connection in a lot of life. I mean, look, you play football? Do you watch football?
No.
But you know the concept.
Yeah.
Which is my point.
Exactly.
You know that there's 90 minutes. You know that there's 2 episodes.
Halftime, 45 minutes.
Exactly. Right.
Now he's talking about soccer. And you,
there you go. There you go. There you go.
Just to be clear, it's correct.
It's correct. You know the concept, even though you might not enjoy it or whatever, but you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you are running and you're under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
the score is equal. One of the teams scores, but look at the celebration from the whole team that 2 minutes ago were struggling. Okay, just stop. Let me squeeze it though. Let me squeeze it though. This is what I'm talking about. I got you, but let me squeeze it though. They celebrate with such intensity because something sparked. It went from 0 to 1. If it's adrenaline, if it's something else happening chemically in your body, I don't know, nor am I equipped to be speaking of it as if I do know. But I'm using it as if it is a certainty, just like you know that football is a certainty of being 90 minutes at least. It's a certainty of it being at least 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the way I see connectivity is like this. I see a bigger picture amongst things. I see a practical use for it. I see how everyone actually is connected. You don't have to love football to understand football. So if someone is around you and they're talking about connecting football, you can adjust to that, despite what you feel about football.
Okay, 2 things. One, did I forget to mention that this guy is writing a book? Can I tell the title of the book?
Sure.
Yeah. Please stop at the red light. So now I'm gonna want you to stop at the red light. This is a red light right now. The concept you just explained to it. How are you preparing those in your mind? Do you practice in front of a mirror? How do you prepare those thoughts? Because every time we speak, it's like you've already rehearsed the convo. It's like you got it inside of you. It's like you've already said this to someone else. And I'm hearing it for the 4th time. I don't feel that you think out loudly. I feel that you have already concepts. And that's why we're sitting here. What are you doing inside? What's happening? What is it you're trying to squeeze out of life? Which means you're always trying to be on point. It's like someone playing the piano and you're always on the right note. I'm like, why? I would get it if you were an elite football player or da-da-da. But dude, you are an elite, definitely. But where? Why are you doing this? Let me know.
I think, just being honest.
Yeah, please.
I come from a background of high achievers.
Oh, okay.
I come from a background of living, seeing, conversating with people who have had life tests that have passed the test of time. Old people. They can filter for you what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. I trust them because when you have nothing, when you see nothing, when you understand nothing, other people will pamper it and call it chaos and, we're just in it, or haflo, or, haflo. There are many different words, But it becomes different. These older, wiser, Allah yarham for them all, may they all rest with peace, they've given a line that has surpassed them. Their bodies have left. But what they've said, the ideas, the concepts, they live. So for me, to get a collection of those, it's like getting the keys. So I trust them because what they've given me, I know at least it's outlived them. And when they gave it to me, I was much younger.
And that's crazy because this is a repeating theme when I talk to the elders. You're from Zanzibar, right?
I don't claim the country. They say Pangea. But I say my parents were born and raised in Zanzibar.
Definitely.
Shout out to Zanzibar. Would you all day.
And obviously, you've kept this culture of carry on tradition, right? Knowledge being passed down. Tell me more about that. Because I don't think we got it. We got YouTube.
Yeah.
We got clips. We got podcasts. We don't got the elders.
So here's the thing
in that way.
But let's put it in perspective.
Yeah.
What one person gets, the other one does not. For instance, you can watch the same analogy of football and soccer. I say it because many people know the game. You can watch the game and be there and experience it. Or you can watch the game on TV and get every single angle. One gives you technicality. The other one gives you experience and you actually living in it. And I believe because of this, I've been put in that type of a scenario. For instance, in Zanzibar, you would hear a lot of singing. Yeah, just singing. Like people
About what?
Singing. Like everyday conversation. Yeah, just everything.
That's amazing.
Everything happening, just sung.
Wow, that's amazing.
But look what it also provides you. You don't care about what other individuals. I'm not saying people sang good. I'm not saying no. I mean, perception of good. They can hold a clean note. I'm not saying that. But people sang, and people sang with expression, and people sang with emphasis, and people sang with real emotion. When you share what you actually resonates within you, I believe other people are willing to resonate that with you. I believe that's what we're doing here.
Imagine
I believe that's what connects people.
Exactly. Imagine what that would do to a tribe or a group of people. That's what we do, right?
Definitely.
When we open up, when we speak our truth and are vulnerable, basically. And those...
I mean, look at it. Look at it like this. Have you been... Someone has hurt you at some point in life and you just haven't let that go?
Yeah, I think we hurt ourselves, right?
But imagine you have a lot of people with a culture that tells you to do that.
Yeah. To do what? To let it go?
Or not let it go?
To not let it go. Damn, so you hang on to the pain.
And I'm sure a lot of people talk about it. But what's your thought? Why do people hang on to their pain?
Here's the crazy thing. I heard this guy the other day. He said, I lost my mom and I played this song just to get the pain so I can be with her again. I'm like, oh, shit. Like we are ready to feel the pain just to feel the joy. Right?
But that's wholeness.
Right?
Yes, I think so. Death has to come with living.
Death. The death theme with you. We're going to talk about the death theme. But all right, so obviously you can already hear this guy resonating, and it's not the usual guy. You feel like, holy shit, is he reading from a book? What's going on? It's interesting. So you seem to have a very soft heart, but a very strong mind. How does that work?
I hope I have a soft heart, man.
No, I've seen it, but
it's a constant work to try and keep it soft. Man. It's like you never know when you're on it. Yeah, man. It's so weird.
Let's say this: you're a chess player.
I've started to enjoy chess a lot.
Started to enjoy it, bro. Let's not be humble, please.
No, I started
just done it out of theater. You're soon to become a master.
No, not even close. Not even close. I'm soon to set the intention of becoming. All right, that's where I'm at.
You play chess.
I play a bit of chess.
You're very strategic. You're very left brain, whatever. But at the same time, I get the very nice vibe, spiritual vibe, soft-heartedness. How do you combine those two? How do you bring out the soft-hearted guy? And other times, it's like you're a general. You're a soldier in a war.
I think it goes back to what you said previously. Like when you have certain presets, you get into that mentality.
Tell me more.
I look at it as framework. Of course, right? I look at it as framework. And imagine the framework of, what's that guy I keep always forgetting? Maslow, shout out to Maslow. Imagine this, and it sounds a bit dry and so on, but imagine Maslow, and he has his pyramid. If you can secure one of those levels, you can walk free within that level. And it doesn't have to be up and down or west to east, but you can be comfortable in that. And I look at it like that. I look at things like if you train incredibly hard when it's time to train, then you don't have to struggle with that later when it's not time to train.
Where does that come from? How did you adopt this kind of thinking? It feels like you have figured this shit out,
I must say it like this. First of all, shout outs to coach. I had an incredible coach.
Tae-kwon-do?
From the club of Tae-kwon-do that raised me.
All right.
As well as Coach Gibe. He did a lot for me.
Wow.
He did a lot for my mentality. It's very thankful. But on deeper research, on my own self-trip, I figured out one thing. Obviously, it's a personality trait.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? I mean, 100% by today's standards. I got a couple.
You got a couple?
I got a couple of letters.
One of those letters
here and there. But I say like this. I believe that I would like to include you. You're being very quiet this time.
Please.
Well, I would like to include
I'm the guest here, please.
I'd like to, because we survived the 90s without medication.
Shout out to the 90s.
What does that mean? That means that we had to deal with whatever is going on in our minds. We had to deal with all of the resistance and the pushing of multiple things that you want to do. But you still have society you have to deal with.
Sure. But when I hear you speak, it's like, yeah, that problem, I resolved it and now it's resolved. I don't revisit the problem.
Yeah, and to recheck sometimes, but not.
For me, that's crazy. I mean, life is organic. It's always moving. And it seems when you speak, yeah, I've already solved that one, the puzzle. It's finished.
But here's the thing. I don't know if I've solved it. But what I do know is that it's passed some test of time.
Oh, there you go. Tell me more.
It's passed some test. Like, I definitely don't believe that this way of thinking is very helpful for all people. I don't think that this way of thinking.
Don't try this at home thing.
Don't try this at home.
Okay.
Because you're essentially messing up with some fundamentals.
Oh.
And if you crack one seed, that full tree will never have been thought of and grown. So, yeah, obviously,
do you have a routine to come up with these concepts?
I have routines. You have to be incredibly boring.
Yeah. And how are you boring, bro?
You got to be incredibly boring. And this comes from, obviously, the martial arts background.
Yeah.
What is it Bruce Lee says? Don't fear the man who's kicked 1,000 kicks, but the man who's kicked one kick 1,000 times. So basically, you become like a sniper. You become like a way of... because imagine this. If you apply the...
But I really see you as a sniper. You are so efficient, even if you're thinking like you don't waste a calorie.
Because I've been shot so many times.
I used to do this. That's crazy, bro.
It's just reality. But here's the thing, though. If you have an incentive to change it, like the sniper analogy, that means that you can go back to that specific coordinate.
Where do you store all this thing? Is it in your mind?
Start. No,
I need a store. Where do you store it?
I store it all.
Do you have concepts in your mind?
I have a concept in my mind it's like an empty vessel.
Tell me about the empty vessel, please.
There's just nothing. Like, imagine, like nothing in the sense of like when you're in space, there's space. You perceive dark matter,
something,
but it's known as just, like if you put two hands next to each other, and you can see that there's maybe 5 centimeters in between, right? But if you try to fathom what is actually in between, yes, it's very abstract and math up, but bear with me. What is that actually is between those two, right? And the deeper you zoom into it, you start seeing different things. You start seeing, there's dimensions. You start seeing, there's the color that is going right through it. You see that in between there might be something. Or simpler,
that's what's going on in your head?
Yes. Or simpler, try to see with your hand. That fundamental disconnect is essential, because you can't see you won't get out what you sense and what you see when you see something with your eyes. And if you try to copy paste that to your hand, you don't get the same results.
Okay, so hold up, you got a space in your mind.
Let me connect it. So, in that where it breaks, those two where you can't see with your hand, that's an in between. That's a no man's land. That's nothingness, what I would call, because you don't. It's like when you switch between two thoughts. That space in between. I've explored that a lot. So, and that's what's happening in my mind.
So people talk about, going to nirvana, coming to a nothingness, mindlessness. And you say it's like you can just push a button and you're there.
Yeah, 100%. But
would you wait? Hold up! It's not just, what? Hold up! What do you mean 100%?
100%.
You push a button, you go to a place where it's empty.
Yeah. Look,
what goes on in
fam? Look. If you have, you're feeling really bad. You're feeling really bad one day.
Okay.
And loop me back, because I tend to just,
No, I got you. It's a shitty day.
You have a shitty
bad.
But a month ago, you selected, it's the era of playlists in music, you selected 10 incredibly nostalgic songs. 10, not one, 10. Every song, every single song, when you play them, this is not a good song. This is a great song. A great song. You have 10 great songs. 10. Now we go back in time to this moment. You're sad. You're sad. When a child screams, they go from sad to another emotion, from happy to another emotion, from agitated to another emotion. Switch. So when you're sad, why not go to the medicine that actually can get you happy the next instant? You listen to the first song. You listen to the second song. After the third song, something will switch. Guaranteed.
How do you stay conscious in your sadness about actually doing that? Don't you get lost in the emotions?
No, I divert attention, and I have time and space for emotion.
What?
You have to treat emotions with the respect that it deserves, I believe, because essentially it's always there bubbling, moving. So people ignore that space. It's like having a box and you're just packing everything in there. You're moving, you have kitchen things, you have bathroom things in the same box. How?
That's how people are living.
Yeah. And I don't think that works. I separate them. It's boring, like I said, because you have to be structured within the frame. This goes back to the framework I'm talking about. If I know guaranteed that this box when moving are for kitchen things and this one is for bathroom things, I keep them separated. When I need kitchen things, I take out kitchen things.
What do you mean? Do you have like 1 hour in a month where you just sit down and cry?
I'm of Muslim faith.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Shout out to the Muslim.
Now, you have these practicing rituals.
Yes.
You have to take the time out, or you're supposed to. It's encouraged. It's encouraged to take out the time and ponder about various things. But essentially, it's that you aren't that important. That's my understanding. You are not that important.
You're not saying let's just suppress the feelings.
No,
Let's live.
Give them space.
Yeah, give them space. Live them. Feel them.
Give them space. Go through them. Be honest with them. This is a sense where I call your absolute truth. Now, when you speak to yourself with honesty, you look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know if you're lying. It makes sense lying to other people, but lying to yourself makes zero sense.
Zero.
So, for me, that is your absolute truth. When you can speak to yourself with your emotions in that frequency.
So what do you say to emotions?
You don't say anything. Words are what we use for interaction with other individuals. When you look yourself in the eyes, you know. When a boxer stands in front of another boxer, right before the ring goes off,
they know.
They know. You know, essentially.
So what is it I'm knowing? I'm knowing if I'm authentic, if I'm being real to myself, if I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling happy.
I think all of your emotions there are collected. And the ones that are most intense, don't ignore the other emotions. You have a lot of emotions. But the ones that are more intense, I recognize those. Because they feel more, they push more. There's more of a, I need you to think about it.
It's like a kid dragging you by your sleeves. So, you know what? When you speak, I think of, meditation, coming out of the chaos just to see things from a macro perspective. And it seems that you've done that. You stepped out of the picture and looked down upon the feelings, the thoughts, the whatever.
I think you have to.
But how do you do that?
My experience of that is, so we're in London fighting the British Open. And the whole Swedish national team is present.
Is this Tae-kwon-do?
This isn't Tae-kwon-do.
Okay.
And shout outs to the country. But a guy stops us. We're young, so we're like, we need fish and chips. We knew nothing about London. Ignorance at its highest degree. We knew nothing about London. We're like, y'all got some fish and chips somewhere. He goes, you don't eat fish and chips here? We're like, what? And he looks at us, because we all have the same color coordinations on. And he asks, what's going on? And we tell him, Swedish national team. Is like, Swedish national team? And he basically disrespected all of our ethnicities. 12 people.
Because you're black.
because none of us look the same. None of us look the same. Coach was from Gambia, the other coach was Irish.
Why the blondes? Why the blue eyes?
People from Iraq, you had people from Palestine, you had all of the Balkans. We definitely were the United Colors of Bennington.
Wow.
But the point was, for him, he made me see it from the outside. Because I was feeling like I can work so hard. I made it. I basically beat everyone in the country for this position. And still, something that was not me took that from me. That's how I felt about it. So from that moment, I started to think, hey, he got me. 1-0. Cool. What does that perspective look like?
How old were you?
He's 16, 17.
Yeah. So what kind of 16-year-old thinks like that? That's what I'm trying to get to. Where did this get adopted? I'm so intrigued, bro. We'll talk. I'm intrigued because it's like, yeah, now it feels like you stored that memory and you worked on it in some way. You benefited from it.
Definitely. But also, that's a hero story.
Yeah? Tell me more.
It's a hero story. You essentially, your past is your past. And I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring your question.
No, please.
Your past, I believe, is your past when you're 15 or you're 16, right? But the stories that you tell yourself in the future is what you're running on. Cool. Yeah, trauma and yeah, this happened. And yeah, it did. Absolutely. Yeah. This intensity, things happen. This intensity, things happen.
Things happen, yeah.
And if you look in the world, maybe it's a lower percentage than what you might be experiencing.
Sure.
So again, goes back to, it's not that important. Like in prayer, you're not that important. There's bigger pictures.
So the philosophy of being not that important, you just don't get caught up, basically.
Don't get caught in it.
And too much of it. That's a real key.
It is. But what happens now is I start to, what was I going to say? The perspective is about seeing how and what you can experience at once. Because I like art, because I enjoy expression, that is the journey for me. I'm sorry, I missed the question.
No, don't mind the question. The thing is, I want to extract the real live thought process. So let me ask you this. What has the compounding effect been for you living by your principles? Because when you speak, I see principles. I see codes. I see I see formulas. What's the compounding effect of it?
The compounding effect is that I get to live in peace. Not much bothers me, like genuinely bothers me.
That's great.
And here's the thing: when speaking of it, people might find it arrogant, but it gives me peace. It literally, the compounding effect, it gives me peace. I have inner peace. I have a problem with you, I'll solve it with you very quickly, as efficient and quickly as possible. Because compounded, you go on with your version of what happened in the situation. I go on with my version of what happened in the situation. But essentially, when we meet, I'm not just meeting you. I'm meeting your castles and your demons and everything that you're bringing along. You're doing the same with me. Now, the quicker we get to the point of, yo, let me know how you saw this. I'll let you know how I saw this. And now a decision has to be made.
Om du tycker avsnittet idag låter nice så hade det varit grymt om du kan gilla, följa och rate oss med 5 stjärnor. Och just det, glöm inte att följa oss på sociala medier också. All right, peace.
So for me, it's that. How quickly can we get to that, what I call a breaking point, which is essential for you to experience and see things that you're seeing.
So what does that mean? Are you kind of afraid to entertain the tougher emotions?
No.
The sadness, the whatever?
Oh, no, those are nice. Those are nice. But compounded, it's like
vision.
Feel me with this. Something happens. Something tragic happens to you. Something hard happens that you haven't experienced before. I think you're better equipped to deal with that when you've dealt with your other things, your other deeds.
Yeah, you're more free.
You're more free. So when that comes, you can focus. You can focus exactly on that space and only that product.
That is super true, especially when you have toddlers at home.
There you go.
If you got like 10 things that's bothering you, and this little kid comes and wants a snack, and you're gonna snap.
And they have nothing to do with it.
You don't have anything to do with it, but hey, I'm thinking about work. I gotta clean this car. I gotta go shop some groceries, and you are just nagging the shit out of it. You feel it's nagging. It's not.
No, they're living their reality.
So again, you missed to be present. So let me just get you right. You've built. That's why you're here. You've built a system in your mind which you can take in stuff that's happening in the external world and compromise it and put it into different sections or boxes, or whatever you call them. You refine them, and the output, you take decisions on that, and it leaves up space for you to move, to feel, to be present, to actually be sad, fully sad, and to actually be happy, fully happy. And the compounding effect of that has been a state of peace, man. Just real peace. Oh, real peace. That is real peace, man. That is amazing. Because if you ask any person in the streets, yo, what do you want? And peace. They will tell you, I want cars, I want houses.
They're not working for it, man.
I want the Gucci stuff.
But they're not. I think two things. Either you're not working for it, or you don't have the keys or the tools to work for it.
Stop. Now you're saying that happiness is something you work for.
I'm saying you can. Yeah, of course.
It's something 100%. That you build.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not just happiness. It's a choice.
No, it's not something you stumble upon and find, and now you're at a museum enjoying happiness. No, never.
It's a choice.
There are parts of it where you can choose, I think.
Man, tell me more about that.
When you have happiness, because that's the thing, I've never chased happiness.
No?
I've chased gratitude. I've chased sustainability. I've chased tranquility. Always. Over happiness? Never.
What is happiness for you?
Exactly. Tranquility, peace, a state where it stays like this. It's not a...
It's a byproduct.
It's not a byproduct. It's not about getting to heaven. It's about not experiencing hell.
Ooh.
Sustain. If I can sustain pain less on the cost of I have to experience active happiness, I'll choose gratitude. Always, man. Gratitude stays.
That's crazy because the researchers tell us gratitude is the key out of sadness, out of misery, out of whatever. Yeah, man. And you're right, because people who actually focus on being happy
miss it.
No,
I'm assuming
they miss it, but they also turn out to be more miserable than the other guys who just thinking about, being satisfied, being okay with things. They become more happy because they're more relationship focused, God focused, spirituality, whatever you want to call it. But that's interesting because here's the thing. Where does community come in your life? Because now we're always talking about spirituality and nirvana, meditation and yoga, but it becomes individually.
Yeah.
I want to do that for me.
Yeah.
And if you look, all the practices in religion, in whatever you want to call it, it's always about the community because community brings tranquility, community brings peace, whatever. Where's the community part?
The community has to do with character. What do I mean by that? I mean that, for instance, people want to experience religion. I say experience what people practice and then later what they claim to be religion. For instance, I got the concept of removing a stick, a log, or something that can hurt some individual when you're walking on the street because somebody might hurt themselves.
Yeah, you did that this morning. Shout out to you.
Just so I remember.
Yeah, shout out to you.
I often don't have good memory like that, but definitely removing that, you put an intention in the world, I believe, of, hey, I hope nobody hurts themselves.
I really like that.
But I think the person who sees that happening is kind of like, I caught you in your nakedness. But what are you experiencing? I think if they experience, those individuals, if they experience whatever the word now, gratitude or joy or positivity, they bring that back to the community.
And I think also I have this, we both are from the Muslim faith, but even if we weren't, it's like the universe or whatever you want to call it, registers that act. Something is getting registered. The butterfly effect.
Gotcha.
Nothing moves without moving everything. I think Tesla said that. If you want to study the world, study the vibrations, the frequencies. Everything moves. And when you remove that log or whatever, you did something to the equation. You practice your free will to gain something.
I look at it as
to
to
whatever.
remove the pain from another individual, potential individual.
And that's richness. To be able, one, to remove your own pain, and also have enough to remove others' pain.
The service that you do for the community, I think, is what actually helps individuals grow.
Ooh.
The service of helping other people. Because I look at it like this. If I can help someone else, obviously you don't have to help someone else. But they didn't have to help someone else. Not necessarily you.
So why would you want to help someone else?
Because it's about community. You're going to look out for me at some point in time of you giving your bus card to someone that you don't know. Remember the old school that you would actually have a card?
Exactly.
But if the person doesn't know you, and we've all been in that situation, they won't take it because the community is infected. The community thinks you want gain from this. You want something from this. Several times this happened to me. I give him the card to someone.
They don't want it.
Not that he wants it. He goes, "What do you want?"
Oh.
And I tell him, "I don't want.
Why are you being nice?
Why are you being nice to me?"
Oh.
And I believe it's because the community is infected. It doesn't have to return to me. It has to return to the community.
To someone, yeah.
And if when it comes back to the community, it will affect the rest.
What goes around comes around. Man, I love it. Thank you for that. All right, so tell me about how your mind works when you take decisions. You're after a chess player, as we mentioned. So decisions
You're a good chess player, though. But when it comes to decisions, first of all, I know how much pain I can endure.
How do you know that?
Because I've gone through a lot of the Tae-kwon-do martial arts background. I know what physical pain feels like. I know, like I felt the whole, this thing breaking, this thing not working right.
Wow.
This thing, you're exhausted, your heart is, I felt that. And if you're not on an elite level and you're just regular, you don't do sports or you don't work out, you haven't felt much of that. So I think you confuse being shocked with that I think you're getting shocked with the intensity. So for me, when I make a decision, I will take, like the analogy of boxing. If you take a couple of jabs, that you're looking where the individual is lowering, the hand, where they're vulnerable. That way, it makes it easier for me when you attack. Again, I can be fully, when I need to be fully present, persistent, accurate, but I can be full in that.
So haven't you experienced something that you didn't expect to happen?
Of course, that's life. I have to have.
And like it drained you with pain, with
I'm gonna be honest,
almost a suffocating.
I'm gonna be honest.
Feeling.
The one thing that drains me, and I've been incredibly quick now to just cut it, is nagging, what people would like to call toxic energy or people.
Oh yeah. Okay.
When you just nag hopelessness, dwell into the realm of negative. Oof, I can't
take that.
I didn't know what it was before. I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest.
Crazy.
I didn't know. Because again, alhamdulillah, I come from a background of incredible individuals.
Man, I love it.
None of that stuff existed in our household. There was literally just, keep going. Yeah, you can do. Oh, what about that? Only.
Wow, that's amazing.
Of course, there are other parts where, due to situations, but the overall, there was such an abundance of it that my memory is storing that.
Yeah.
The other stuff is necessary because of life, just how
you've
things
been programmed differently.
I've been programmed in a way that has served me and community. I love that a lot.
But you've never felt like, okay, someone just pulled the rug out of my feet, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't got a plan for this. I didn't plan for this, and the pain is excruciating. How do you say it? Excruciating? It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah. I'm looking at the spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I must have.
So what?
But I think I've dealt with those emotions. I got to think of it. What happened when? And
Imagine you have to think
a sneak. Yeah,
that's crazy.
a sneak, like someone just.
You just, holy shit. I thought this was a 4, it was an 8 of pain. And
More intensity and pain?
yeah, emotional pain, psychological
pain. Heart breakups. As a team, that hurts. But then looking at it today, because there's the things I go, what is the reason for the pain? Why this much pain? Cool pain, because I couldn't stop that. I don't believe so. But why this much pain?
Yeah, this intensity.
Why this intensity? Why is this? And I give it numbers, right? Why this +6? Because it makes it easier to keep it, right? In the blog, it makes it easier. Because you feel +6 and you do something else and you feel +9 and you're like, when you're feeling the 6, acknowledge it again for being a 6. It's not a 9. Stop exaggerating. Don't be so dramatic about this. Leave it. It's not a 9. Act accordingly. It's a 6.
Tell me about the act accordingly stuff. I've heard you say that.
That's how you make decisions. If I know that this feels like a pain of experience +6, but I'm talking about it like it's a +9 to myself, just stop. Act accordingly to what it is. It's a 6.
So you can remove yourself from the pain?
Yeah, man.
Tell me more.
Because I can't lie to me. I ask myself when I'm faced with a situation, am I acting accordingly to this pain? This hurts, yeah, but I'm not that overwhelmed because I can act accordingly to that situation. I've dealt with so much of the other stuff, and especially the fundamentals. So the sneaky, this pain comes. I don't experience much of those. That's what I'm saying. There has to be, but I'm good.
It's fascinating because you're like 35. I'm 35. Shit happens, right? Yeah. By this time, shit happens, and sometimes you don't expect it to happen. It becomes overwhelming.
I'm gonna put it like this:
have you been overwhelmed? The formula
has worked now. I don't know if it will work later. You with me? This formula of seeing life, it's working now, and it has been serving me very well in the past.
So how do you work up that muscle of pain tolerance if you actually don't experience overwhelming pain? So if you think of a gym, you go to the gym, you lift a little bit more than you're capable of, and you start shaking, and you feel, oh my God, I can't do this. But the next week, that becomes your standard.
So this is what I do.
So how do you put yourself in that situation to become stronger?
To do that, you have to trust community, because community will put you in places that you're not prepared for, and you have to be able to just do it. If you jump off from a water, like a ledge into a pool, if it's 3 meters or if it's 6 meters, essentially, you're still jumping. The jump has to be the same, even if the G-force is different, the actual jump. And I say to myself, I don't watch trailers in movies. I don't watch trailers, but I'll trust you if you tell me which movie to watch.
By the way, we buy tickets for the Oprah? I think we did. Maybe. We're going to the Oprah together about the trailers. Yeah. So wait, how does that have to do with community?
It has to do with if you have people around you that can put you in situations, they're the ones who essentially challenge you. They will tell you to go to an opera. I want to go to an opera, but in context, what I'm hearing, that individual can get you to try something you've never tried.
So what I'm hearing is that it seems like you keep a small circle of people who you want to grow with, and they will obviously challenge you, but in a manner that you are ready for and is actively participating in. It's not like a surprise. Holy shit, my house burned down or whatever happened. It's like, all right, hold up. Let me just get my gear and let's do this thing.
I'm going to be honest. It goes back to knowing that there's a breaking point.
Yeah.
Despite how I feel about the situation, despite how you may experience the situation, there's a breaking point. Either you did it or you didn't, or you felt it or you didn't feel it. Or you're dealing with it or you're not dealing with it. And for me, I often go into that one.
Tell me more.
Either you deal with the situation accordingly and you go to the ones who have the knowledge of fixing it, or you don't. I believe people are confusing this with you walking the journey for me. I am under no illusion or delusion that you have to do the work. But I need to know at least what direction am I heading so that it can surpass as quickly as possible.
I knew it.
By definition.
I knew it. You want to go to the effective stuff.
Of course.
I knew it. Just give me the keys.
Yeah.
Let me get this door open.
Because let me ask you, a sick man has how many wishes? A sick man has how many wishes?
One.
Which is, fix this, get me out of this.
Just get me out of this pain.
Because everything else has a less of a number.
Yeah.
Less of an intensity.
Yeah.
Less of an urgency.
Less priority.
Yes.
So here's the thing. You talked about physical pain with your training in the gym and the Tae-kwon-do. How does that apply for the emotional pain? The psychological pain? Is it just me feeling emotional pain or psychological pain?
I think I feel it, but just in a like neurological less of a number. That's what I think.
Tell me more.
I see people who can get scattered in situations, just scattered in situations, overwhelmed. And I'm thinking I would not approach life or that situation at all in that way.
How would you do it?
Depends on. But that's what I'm trying to say, that I'm very lucky and thankful to have had elders because they've given me the essential keys.
So this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that, yes, you're taking the same journey in life as other people, but, and it's a big but, you're taking calculated steps, which are manageable, which will compound in time, and which will actually do less damage than necessary, and will get you to your destination quicker, and will keep you out of pain, while doing it,
100%,
because most of suffering is unnecessary, and it's self-caused.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, self-caused. That's what I believe. Yes. I don't know if it's correct, but that's what I believe, and that's what I work on, and that's the formula I use, and that's why I see what I see. That's what I really believe. Yeah. It's self-inflicted, definitely.
Man, I don't think most of the listeners just turned the podcast off because now I resonate with that, and I think also that's true. It is self-caused. But I think the tricky part is actually being conscious of, holy shit, I'm going into that trap. Hold on, don't do it. You're about to go into that trap and feeling sorry about yourself and feeling that the world is unjust. The why this happening me is overwhelming, is too much, this, that. And I think the biggest key here is actually having the bird perspective. Yeah, see it.
So that helps
before it happens.
So that helps when you pray.
Tell me about the prayers.
This is all connected, right? So
tell me more about the prayers.
If you stay in praying and in meditation, the different types of prayer. This is the problem also with language. Sorry for opening that box.
No, please.
But praying in the English language is asking for. It could be asking. The other one could be acknowledging. There are levels to different things, and we act accordingly, right, to what we believe it is. But when you're reminded constantly that you don't run this,
man, you don't run this at all.
You don't. Just on a very humbling level. Like I say it with a very straight voice. I get that.
Yeah, but it feels like you've accepted that.
Because what other choice do you have? You don't have any choice. So by default, you have to accept it.
So why do we always go back to, let me just control this bit. Let me just do this bit.
Because I think we're trying to control the same thing with the same intensity. We're not acting accordingly. What do I mean? I'll give you a scenario.
Okay.
Again, the space in between sentences, that's what I'm trying to come back to again in an analogy.
The pauses.
You are standing trying to order coffee at a whatever brand. There's a long line. Whoever's in front of you is taking a long time. all of you 20 people that are standing there have the same thought. I'm assuming something related to, at least the majority of them, something related to what's taking so long.
Yeah.
That's collective consciousness, I believe. You have collective
When is it my turn? Let's go. Is it done?
And that connection that everyone has with each other is united. It's united, and in this connection, it is placed directly towards someone. They might feel that, they might not. So in prayer, I believe you connect to something that is not in your vessel. It is to something that lives throughout different of times. If you are in connectivity, I'll give you an example. I might go a bit too honest. There are different traditions on how this works in actuality. I'm under the belief that when you are in prayer, you connect with the wholeness of something. Whatever words, language you wish to use, you connect of a wholeness with something. When other people do the same, just like with the coffee example, it is directed. Now there's energy in that direction. There's strength in that direction. There's also weakness in that direction. So the more people get on board on keeping a thought of, I want peace for you. Like I actually want you to be at peace. Even if that is whatever I am causing, that is consciously or subconsciously hurting you.
That is beautiful.
I want peace for you. That is my lowest common denominator. Even if I don't know you, I want actual whole peace for you.
Because you know what chaos is.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
It's long. And I think a lot of people drop off on the way of the thought. But
if we all did just adapt that part, I want peace for you. Forget all about the rituals and dogma, whatever you want to call it. Just peace. Yes, bro, I want peace for you. I heard about this guy who, and I tried it the other day, passed by strangers and pray for them. You know, in your heart. You'll say it. Just pray for them. Hey, I want peace for you.
Yeah.
May God bless your day. Whatever. Man, it does something.
It does.
They don't even know it.
For community.
For every living creature, it does something. That's crazy.
I look at it like this.
The voice is
the intention for you to community. Well, community is enough, that goes to nature.
Man, I love it.
And then it deals on the nature.
Man, I love it.
We need to. That's what I'm trying to say, that it doesn't cost you nothing.
When you said peace, I felt something in my heart. Alhamdulillah. I really did. Because it felt like the soul said, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's peace. That's what I want. Just give me peace. You know? It's like your mind, your ego, your soul, everything is living in there.
And it's difficult. It's difficult.
It's difficult.
A lot of things happening.
Yeah, and the ego wants to get recognized, and the mind wants to marinate on the thoughts and whatever. And the soul is, hey, guys, stop it. Can we just get some peace in here? And you do that by going in prostration or meditation or whatever you want to call it. Man, that's amazing. I think that introspective thing, meditation and prayer or whatever, they're going to be more and more part of people's lives in the future. Something is happening. I think you mentioned it in your book. I'm not going to talk about your book today. We're going to have another interview talking about your book. I think your second book should be called Act Accordingly. But man, something is happening to that. And now we're viewing this stuff about the community, about the collective thought, mind, whatever. So let's go, because it's perfect for the next question. It's about how present is your shadow, your dark side in your daily life.
Very dark.
Shout out to Carl Jung.
Shout out to Carl Jung. I have very dark thoughts.
Tell me, bro.
I don't have a middle state. I think I have a lot of lowish or just on. But it's because I know how far I can reach in my thoughts, and they go there. They go to very dark places.
What are we talking about?
The dark places is like dark humor. For instance, if I'm watching,
can I say this? Sometimes when we joke, you say, if he dies, he dies. He dies, man. From the Rocky movie, yeah?
It's Apollo Creed, right? I was at the mosque yesterday. I saw a guy with Apollo Creed shoes. He's like, yo, overnight. Guys, if he dies, man.
And you move. Well, what do you mean? Do you go to you explore thoughts?
The thing about having sessions with yourself, about dealing with your actual emotions and your truth and your absolute truth, I believe it helps you when you also have those dark sides. And when you have a dark side that comes and you constantly bring them up in those sessions, you learn to deal with them. You learn friends with them. You learn to not ignore them, first of all.
Oh, don't ignore them.
Because they're going to be knocking on every corner.
Don't ignore the demons, baby.
That's what I'm saying. What did S.T.I.S? He told me you got to coexist with your demons.
So what do they say?
For me, they don't say much these days. Alhamdulillah.
What do they want?
They used to want to learn more faster.
Oh, yeah.
As if there was roof. And because I used to have this inferior mentality of, I can't learn that. No, that's not for me.
That complex.
It's because school deprived me of knowledge. School deprived me of the whole. Yeah. And it sounds contradictory to other things that I'm doing in life, but nah. And I make sure to give it as it is, because I really feel like that's the reason for the math.
Yeah, tell me about the math. What do you mean?
Feel that I couldn't deal with learning math,
which is so contradictory to how you think.
But it's the truth. And because of that, I'm dealing with it today. What do I mean? I mean, everything that you failed in high school, all you got to do is take the course again now.
Like revisiting that.
Yeah. See, I do that with the demons as well.
It's painful.
It is. But what other choice do you have? Dealing with that pain and essentially letting it grow because it's growing like a cancer in a corner that you have no idea about. Or acting accordingly, dealing with it. Okay, what do you want? Demon, what do you want? What is it? What is it that you want from me? Like the boxer again, you versus your demons. People always put the analogy of God and the devil. If God is God, God cannot versus anything.
No, he's God.
By definition. Belief or no belief.
You studied philosophy, by the way, so let me just tell the listeners that this is a philosopher, right? And hey, let me just say something. The God thing, the self-struggle thing, I get the picture that you're very authentic towards yourself.
I hope so.
What's the benefits? Why are you being so real? Because it's painful to see yourself in the mirror having the sessions with the dark forces and shadows and demons. And why are you doing this?
Because of what I can control, I try to. You have choice. There's power in choice. If you essentially can't take care of you, you rely on everyone else, like in the community. What do you do if you live in a community where it's been toxic for a long time? A lot of generations there.
Yep.
What do you do?
Family structures.
You know what I mean? Some people change community. Some people understand that and take on you know what? Someone has to be the first. Yep. I'm sure that many people break the cycle, either in age or in gender or in whatever it is that you up on. You're going to be the first. Cool? Are you prepared for that?
No. All right. We're heading towards the end of this podcast, but let me ask you this last thing. If you had one wish to make an impact on others, what will it be? So you're preparing, you're struggling towards yourself, you're having those conversations, you're dealing with your demons, you're becoming a better person by the hour. What's the end goal? What's the end, so where's the finish line? Where do you want to impact?
The finishing line is, and I'm going to be real, it's been the same hashtag, quote, thought mentality that we've had forever. Shout outs to the crew. Sounds that inspire conscious souls.
Sticks in the building.
It's be amazing. Always be amazing. My end goal is when every individual is maximizing on everything they can maximize on, because that is essentially the breaking point. If everyone is doing what they can do maximum at that given time and time period, you are being of the greatest service to the community at that point.
And life also.
It's a beautiful vision. I love it. And I hope this what we're doing here today is part of it.
Sure.
And man, I look forward to listening and reading your book. Please stop at the red light. We're going to have a discussion about that. And I also enjoy just seeing you win, just seeing you put in the work. By the way, you have written, stay amazing. Please always stay amazing on your mirror in the bathroom, right? I think you sent me a picture of that once.
Oh,
that's amazing because you live as you preach. And as a father of two, as a conclusion, what kind of legacy do you want to leave for them? Because you've had a lot of legacy left for you. What do you want to leave?
Same.
It's the same.
The same.
Just maximize life.
Maximize everything you can maximize in.
And act accordingly.
Act accordingly.
Hey, man. Thank you a lot. I really enjoyed this.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Och det var det som vår gäst hade att bidra med. Man känner sig lite klokare men också lite dummare för varje gång man interagerar med honom. Men jag tror definitivt att han har knäckt någon sorts kod här som vi behöver ta till oss. Jag hoppas att det inte är sista gången vi får ha med honom att göra, för att det finns mycket, mycket mer. Och som sagt, se upp för den här boken, Please Stop at the Red Lights. En fantastisk bok som jag har fått äran att tjuvläsa lite. Jag tror ni kommer hitta många nycklar där. Så håll utkik, och så snart den kommer ut så är det bara att haffa den helt enkelt. Jag kommer slänga upp det också så att ni vet när det är dags.